Hey beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your best girl Becky in the building. So guys, today I'm going to be giving you guys interesting gist. To share my postpartum story. So if you're here for the first time, please do not forget to like. Please do not forget to subscribe. Turn on your notification bell. The notification bell is just by the subscribe button. You see a bell there, just click on it. And if you want, comment. If you love this video, please help my ministry. Without you guys, this is not going to move forward. I really want to share my stories so it could help people out there. I really want to share educative things. I want to share my cooking videos and people that want to learn in one way or the other. So please encourage your girl. Share this link. Thank you. So guys, today has just been a boring day for me. Although I went out, so I decided to go out, but I'm back. So I decided to make a video on my postpartum story. So many persons have been asking me, when is it coming out? When are you going to post it? Post it. What do you guys want to hear? Oh well, I'm going to share the story because it's not something people want to talk about. So many persons do not want to talk about it. Sometimes it can be embarrassing. Sometimes it's not pleasing. It's not something people want to remember. So I noticed that this is not a most talked about topic. People don't talk about it that much because when I gave birth and felt I was free and getting to see certain changes surprised me. Like, I wasn't expecting all of those changes. I didn't know about them. People don't talk about them. So I just felt like, okay, I'm going to start up a vlog trying to educate people on these things so that it will not come as a shocker to you guys. So when I had my baby, I felt nothing could go wrong anymore. But it came as a time bomb, like boom. I told you guys I got stitched, so I just waited for them to stitch me up so I could leave the hospital. Now immediately after the stitch, that was when the gbas started. So I'm making this video to encourage future mothers out there that when you go through these things, you should know that it is normal and you are not alone. You're not alone at all, because I actually felt I was alone when I had it. I felt it was just me till I got to talk to people and realized that I wasn't alone at all. And guys, postpartum depression is real. It is real. So many persons are going through it. So many persons are suffering it. It is real. I wouldn't say mine was postpartum depression because I feel it is more deep. I felt it though, but I don't want to call it depression. I don't want to call it depression because the word sounds so strong for me. But I think I was almost there because I had days when I would cry, days when I feel like I did the wrong thing, and so on. Not loving your baby is normal. After you give birth to your baby, you just feel like, who's this stranger? Who is this? Like, it's more like somebody just gave you their baby to take care of, and in that not relaxed state, you're thinking of someone that cannot walk, someone that cannot talk, someone that cannot express himself. And when you give birth, your nipples start hurting. They hurt so bad that the nurses would say, breastfeed your baby, give your baby breast and all. And then when your baby lashes on your nipple, oh my god, that pain is hell. I would always cry whenever I remember I want to breastfeed my baby. But there's nothing you can do, sister, because you have to breastfeed your baby. You have to give your baby food. So nobody forced you. Nobody said, I won't want to come, and so you have brought the baby to the world. Who is going to feed your baby for you? It's you. I was overwhelmed by my postpartum changes. First, you're this young, vibrant girl. Your body's still intact. I didn't have a very flat tummy anyway, but it was okay. So having your baby, your tummy just becomes flabby, soft. Your tummy won't go back to, see, if I'm talking to you now, and you've not given birth, just press your tummy now, because when you give birth, you won't feel it that way. I don't feel that muscle in my stomach anymore. It's like the muscles have all stretched. They've lost elasticity. So that firmness is no longer there anymore. So standing in front of the mirror looking at myself, I really felt sad. Fine, I had a baby, it's a blessing, no doubt. I'm not disputing that fact. I am grateful to God. I always say it. So many persons are out there looking for it. So when you have it, you should be thankful. I am thankful to God. But regardless, I wouldn't give a blind eyes to postpartum symptoms. I think that's why people do not talk about it, because they feel I'm not meant to complain. I'm not because I have a baby. I have a gift from God. Yes, I have a gift from God, but I had postpartum depression. I was a little depressed. Now, being stitched, I was asked to sit on warm water, not hot water. I was asked to sit on warm water. So I was sitting on warm water, no doubt, but I realized my stitches were losing. See, I don't know why. I just feel like, I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know why I want to do this, but I just want moms out there to know that they are not alone. See, when my stitches got loosed, oh God, see, I felt like fainting, because I know how painful that stuff was. Like in the hospital, going through the stitching and everything in the hospital too, I was going mad. Even with the anesthesia they gave me, I still felt it. So imagine coming back to a loosed stitch. Well, I got loosed that day. I think 3 days after I got loosed. My goodness. When I told my mom that my stitches had loosened, I was crying when I was telling her, because I already felt like I've gone through so much pain. Why is this happening? Now, I told you guys I had a 3rd degree tear, so there's no way I'm not going to stitch that place. There's no way, because it would have caused so much problem. So I had to stitch. Now, having my stitches fall off was another traumatizing thing. That period, I could remember I had a lot of calls. I just didn't, I wasn't picking calls, because this is not the right time. I can't talk, except you had a proper delivery. There are some persons that will just go push and come out. There are people like that. But we that are not so fortunate to have a smooth one, there are still other people facing the same thing. There are still people going through worst cases. There are people that give birth like Hebrew women. There are people like us. There are people worse than us. But we all should know we are not alone. That thing you're facing, another person is also suffering it. So do not feel sad about it, okay? So I called my auntie that worked there and told her that my stitches had fallen off. She was like, how did you do now? How did you go about it? And now, restitching is worse than even stitching in the hospital. That was what I was told. Being restitched, it was worse than that, because in the hospital, you're already going through pains, labor pains and everything. Your adrenaline has already risen, so you can stand every other pain. So now that I've gotten to the house and I'm a bit relaxed, I honestly do not want to feel any other pain anymore. So I was booked for another appointment to get stitched. And that place, my VJ was already hurting me. Like for a good 3 days, I couldn't look at that place. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to spoil my mind. So I didn't even want to see that place. But whenever I'm having my bath and I touch that place, I felt it was swollen. Of course, because oh moment. I felt it was swollen. So I don't even to put her in there. In fact, I don't even want to touch it. It wasn't my own. I wasn't friendly. Myself and my VJ had no connection that period. I only just sat on hot water and a little salt, and for the stitch to dissolve. It was a dissolvable stitch. So I needed to stay that way for 2 weeks for my stitches to fall off. So I was booked on another. So when the day came, I'm thinking of going back there to. Was another stress for me. It was another heartbreaking moment for me. So the day came and I went to restitch. Okay. The process started and they started stitching me up again. See, nothing don't pay. If I am, let me leave English. Nothing don't pain me reach restitching myself again. Like that was the worst pain. It wasn't even as painful as labor pain. It wasn't as painful as the inducing process I told you guys about. That was like the highest pain I've ever felt in my life. But guess what, guys? I did not cry. I did not cry. You know when something is too painful, tears alone could not help. Tears alone, I did not want to waste my tears, because if I should start crying, I would cry a river. I didn't even bother. I just held my hands like this. This is what I was doing. I was just like that was what I was doing. Oh my Jesus. And my mom was with me. I know my mom was there. She couldn't even look at it. she couldn't even look at me. She was even crying. She was crying because after everything she told me I'm a strong girl, that I'm strong, that she cannot stand that. She cannot stand that. Even the nurses were even telling me restitching is not an easy one. Like, why do you have to come back? I said I don't know how I got to this point. So I had to do it. Because if I wouldn't want that place to be looking like one kind of market, I don't know. So I really needed to stitch again. If there was no big deal, honestly, I wouldn't have gone back there. That was, and this time they gave me anesthesia. It was almost like they didn't give me anything, because it was almost like they didn't give me anything. I wasn't feeling any form of numbness. I wasn't, because I felt every pain. I was just it's as if I should just pass out. Let me just pass out now. What is it again? So I got stitched. They will stitch inside your VJ, like inside. They started from the perineum, like close to the anal part. Stitch, close to the down below. Then they will stitch all the way up to inside of the VJ. I do not want to say certain words because of I don't want any sanction or no. So I'll just be using the word VJ. So they'll stitch inside your vagina. So just imagine. In fact, I would not even say they gave me anesthesia. In fact, they did not give me because that stuff wasn't feeling like I wasn't feeling any numbness at all. So I felt the pain daily. So I was stitched 4 times. Now I endured the first one, the second one, third one, the fourth one, then the 5th one. I was asked to chill so that they would do the 5th one. I was like, this 5th one will kill me. I'm not doing again. I cannot endure again. But funny enough, it wasn't even as bad, thank God, because I was so scared. I was thinking it was going to damage something or not. But thank God I didn't even bother myself, because it wasn't even worth it. The fifth one wouldn't have changed anything, but they just wanted to do it. But I stopped them. I was like, no, people should leave it. Now that first one was really painful. I could not sit down. I could not even comfortably breastfeed my baby. I couldn't. So I went through that one for 5 days, only to feel that I was thinking I was even getting better, but I didn't know that the stitches were falling off gradually. So I had to go again. And now something I was supposed to endure for 2 weeks, I endured it for almost 3 weeks. And people, whenever they come, they were like, don't sit that way. Press your bum bum on a stool. Sit on a stool. How now? How? When I have a wire, big rope down there, how would I sit down like that? But they will say, you have to sit. Some days I would, but some days I didn't. So I just left it that way. At a point, I was now wishing I was still single without a baby. I was looking for the blessing that comes with it. I wasn't even in love with my baby. I wasn't. I was looking at him like a stranger. At least for the first 2 weeks, I wasn't. Then later it started developing. But now, I love my baby. I love him so much. But then I wasn't feeling that way at all. One bit, I wasn't. You're a first-time mom, and you do not know your way around. You should get help. Your mom, your mother-in-law, your sister, whoever, just make sure you're not doing it alone, so you don't go insane, because it can lead you there. You shouldn't be alone. Do not stress yourself. Do not work. All you have to do is give your baby food and just relax. Please let us help new mothers. And if you're out there, you're feeling any form of depression, go see a doctor, talk to somebody, talk to a friend, tell somebody about it, because it is not easy at all. I'm going to talk about my scars, my postpartum stretch marks. Stretch marks is something that will come. Mine started showing up at around 9 months or 8 months. I started having stretch marks all over my stomach, around my navel area, and it's still there. It's still there, but it's fading out. But I think it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. I'm just 3 months gone now. It's fading out. Then I have them around my waist, and plus it came with discoloration. Stretch marks are really dark, but they're fading out too. Then I told you guys my tummy is so soft now. But later I'm going to start some exercises that will make my tummy firm a bit and probably reduce it a bit because my tummy is still big, not as big as before, but it's still big. Now, when you give birth, you don't expect that your tummy runs back inside. Your tummy runs back inside immediately. No, you're still going to look like 6 months pregnant even after you give birth. You're still going to look 6 months pregnant. So expect it, okay? Expect it. Don't expect your tummy to just run in. It might even take a month to get back. So my tummy is in, but not so much. But because I didn't have flat tummy, I think that's why it's still looking big. I think that's why I still look. A lot of things really changes after you give birth. A lot of things changes. How about your libido, your sex life, and everything? It also changes. It changes your sex life. And since it changes your hormones, it changes your menstrual cycle, your ovulation, generally everything. Some people might not even see their period. So ovulation somehow kind of increases libido. It increases your sex, it helps your sex life. So when you're giving birth, you might not see your period, and as such you might not be ovulating. So that also can make your sex life a bit boring. I think basically why it reduces your libido is because one is either responsibility, having a child, thinking of your baby always, taking care of a child and all. I think that's what reduces it. Or your hormones, the fact that you're not able to see your period, the fact that your period doesn't come immediately, you do not start ovulating immediately. I think that also works. But if it's not that one, then it's the fact that you're busy taking care of a child. So you're not thinking of any other thing aside taking care of a child and taking care of the home. The responsibility generally that comes with it tends to reduce your sexual life. I also remember not being able to walk properly. I think for the first 1 week, I wasn't able to walk. I could walk, but I have to hold something to walk. I think my right leg was numb. It was numb for a week. Pain. I noticed that whenever I just stand up to move, breast milk would start dropping, start leaking, like it would start coming out from my breast. So I had to get breast pad to always wear breast pad. Your tummy becomes so your breast becomes so engorged and painful. The first 2 days I didn't have breast milk. But after 2 days I started having overflow. Like the breast milk was now so much. It only knew about before pregnancy, but I didn't know after pregnancy. So I thought 9 months came and I've given birth and I'm fine. Seeing all those things now was not really depressing. Is it the part where you have to do routine bathing of hot water? And I'm not even the hot water kind of person. So always boiling water, going to have my bath morning and night was even depressing. Sometimes I even do it 3 times daily just to heal my stitches. It was really depressing and traumatizing. I know that I remember then I would always quarrel my husband. I'd always pick up a fight from nowhere. I do not even want to hear him tell me that he's sleeping. I don't want to hear him tell me that he's eating. I don't even want to see him happy. Because to me, I wasn't happy. So why are you happy? Am I the only one that did this to myself? Why are you happy? So I knew we would always get into a fight, and it would just try to make me understand. It would just try to understand me. It would tell me everything is fine, everything is okay. Sometimes my elder brother, I went to my family house. I stayed with my mom. So sometimes mostly when nobody's around, I feel lonely with my baby. It's just there. It doesn't smile. It doesn't laugh. It's just looking at you. When it becomes hungry, it starts crying. and my nipples were hurting already. He'll start crying, and when he starts crying, you must give him food. He's ready to bring down the roof until you give him food. So it was just that. Every day I would just be taking care of a baby, a stranger, and I felt like I was taking care of a stranger, and you get. So it wasn't really a pleasing state as at then. I couldn't even go out. I couldn't visit friends. Come on, I've stayed 9 months carrying a baby. I wanted freedom. I wanted to have fun. Later, because I wasn't sitting on a stool, because I was asked to sit on a stool, so that according to them, your what they call it, your pelvis, since that place has, the baby just came out of there, so it has expanded. God has a natural way of taking it back anyway, but it has expanded, so you still have to do certain things to help it will go back to its normal state, no doubt, but you still have to do certain things that will help make the process faster. So because of my stitches, I wasn't doing all of those things, and the fact that I couldn't press hot water, very hot water, I didn't press very hot water. So because of that, I started having a, what they call it, is it queefing? The spelling is Queefing. I started having that, I call it pussy fart. That's what I call it. But it sounds like a bubble coming out of your VJ. Like you just hear pop, like a bubble burst. Pop. So I was told that anyway, that I should sit. If not, this will happen, that will happen. But I couldn't stand the pain, so I wasn't even doing any of it. But when I was 3 weeks gone, I just woke up one morning. Stood up on the bed and just heard pop. Did that just come out from my body? Like, what was that? My mom was like, what was that? I said, I don't know. I heard it again, pop. Hey! And I remembered what they were telling me, that I should always sit down, close my legs, and always sit on a hard stool. And I wasn't doing all of that because of the pains I was feeling, and I couldn't sit because of, I couldn't sit. So when I heard it, my depression started again. I was always unhappy. I was always crying. I would give my baby to my mom. In fact, my mom born at that time. I would give my baby to my mom. I wasn't happy. In my head, I was like, this is what's making me go through all this. But I wanted a baby, yes, no doubt. I wanted to have a baby. I know at some point I was feeling guilty, like, am I being a bad mom? Am I being a bad person for not loving my baby, for not wanting to take care of my baby, for not thinking about my baby and all? Am I a bad mom? But I knew in my heart that no, I am not. Maybe this is just a phase I'm going through, and it will pass. It will pass. After all, God knows I'm feeling pain. It's not like I'm not feeling pain and I'm not taking care of my baby. At some point I was feeling guilty anyway, but with time I understood that they were all normal and they will pass. It even got to a point when I can just be going out and can't control it. It just comes out, pop, and it's so loud. Somebody close to you can hear it. And in my head I was like, am I going to live with this for a long time? This is embarrassing. How do I cope? How do I go with this? So you see why somebody can easily cry. See why somebody can get into a depressed state. Like, my entire body has changed. Everything has changed. I felt old. I felt I wasn't a fine girl anymore. Do you understand? So how would I be having those things? How would I be seeing all these things? And at some point I now understood that my mom would not tell me, you see, having children really changes your body. Look at what some things we're still suffering because we gave birth to you guys. So this is it. And honestly, not everything will go. Some will go, like, I'm 3 months now, and a lot of things have gone. Even this sound thing that I've told you, it just stayed, and it just stayed and stopped. It stopped because initially I was scared, like, this is embarrassing. How do I tell my husband? How do I cope with this with my husband? Do you understand? But later, even before I moved back here, all of a sudden I just forgot about it. I didn't even remember. It was one day and I said, this sound, I've stopped hearing it though. And that was it. Okay, there was something I was also doing. I was doing a pelvic, they call it Kegels. I was doing a pelvic exercise always. So I would always contract and extract my